And so my name is Ayuba. I'm from the engineering team for Microsoft Graph. And the thing that has been interesting over the last couple of years, or this year especially, is that we spent some time with a bunch of customers, a couple of sites. This one was in the UK. And a lot of them were talking to us about, hey, it's great you're shipping all these features and doing all this innovation, but if you don't provide us a way in which we can extend and give us an extensibility way, an API, we're not using it. And that really highlighted to us that the nature of work is changing. We're seeing a lot of things where roles that were defined before as just IT pro are moving to IT dev. And in general, the nature of work and the jobs we all have to do is becoming more hybrid as we go across different verticals and different challenges. The other thing we believe in as a company is about platforms and products. And how do you truly have a good platform? It's by having an ecosystem around it. And to build an ecosystem, extensibility has to be at the core. And so for one of the bets we're making, it's called Microsoft Graph. And this bet is really for M365 and the other Microsoft Cloud services. It's our way of saying, how do we ensure that M365 is something that doesn't just give value to us, but gives value to everybody? That everyone sitting in this room and outside in your organization can actually take advantage of this platform and extend it. What does that mean? It means we built this gateway called Microsoft Graph that is really the input into your data in the cloud, whether that sits in Office 365, whether that sits across Windows, whether that sits across EMS, and a host of other Microsoft Cloud services. It is built on a strong foundation of identity that we've been developing over the years, where we have consent and authorization and authentication models that we've built over time to support your organizations and your various needs. It exposes rich insights through our machine learning models that we build so that we can start to understand not just what are the files that are in this organization, but also what are the files that people are looking at? What's trending? What are the people that when I go into my Outlook and I want to send a new email, when I put my cursor into the to line, how about you give me a suggested list of people that I frequently email based on a bunch of signals from machine learning? We also think about, hey, wouldn't it be great if we could notify you when changes happen? And so you as an IT dev, you as an engineer, you say, look, when somebody joins my organization and they get added to a group, I want a programmatic way to get notified so that then I can take action on that information. And so things about when you think about user onboarding, how do we get them into the right group? How do we get them into the right team? How do we make sure they have the right licenses assigned? Microsoft Graph is that way. If you have users and you have data that exists, whether for your user, your organization, or your groups in M365, this is the way you do extensibility on top of that. And so when we think about it, the key thing we're trying to deliver is that we're giving you access to all your organization data across all our cloud services. We're giving you access to all the users, whether they be work and school, whether they be consumer users, all of those users. How do you get that information and build compelling experiences for them? And fundamentally, the last piece of this that makes this all work is that we want to make sure that we give you only one call pattern to think about, one authentication token to think about, one SDK to think about, and just fundamentally a simpler developer experience that allows you to reach time to value much faster. And so the idea being, hey, if you've already learned how to pull files from OneDrive, it shouldn't be any more work to pull their contacts or their favorites. It shouldn't be any more work to pull their devices from Project Room and build some type of cross-device experiences. You shouldn't have to do any other work other than the additional call required. And that's the promise we're trying to make, and that's the bet we're trying to make for M365 and all our other cloud services. Which leads us back to this. At a higher level, we look at M365 as a platform. There are various canvases and existing experiences that you can extend today using Microsoft Graph. But additionally, we understand that at the end of the day, your organizations, your customers, your business needs, and your challenge also require that some of these experiences you'll build will be custom. And so we also allow you to build custom experiences that are completely extended from this. And again, all of this powered through Microsoft Graph. And when we look at this, why we think this is really interesting is because of the opportunity. At the end of the day, it's not just about a cool new shiny piece of technology. Fundamentally, it's about how does this become a business? How does this become something interesting that I can do? How does this become a way to save time? A bunch of you stopped by the booth earlier this week and just in comments and conversations about, hey, I never knew of this thing before. We've done this thing in our organization to solve this business challenge. But now that I know about this, this is now 6 months of time I've been saved. This is now a day of time I've been saved. This is research I've been saved, right? And so fundamentally, that's part of the opportunity here. It's not just the user base, it's not just the amount of people using the solution, and so on and so forth. It's also a piece about time saving and how do we build much better solutions. And also, we're also working hard on the other side to evolve this and make sure we continue to increase the surface area of the customers you can reach, the solutions you can build, and the apps you can target across the Microsoft ecosystem. Now, it's one thing for me to say this and talk about it, but I think fundamentally the interesting thing is really to hear from some customers and partners who've actually taken this bet, understand why they did it, and how they did it. And fundamentally why they're interesting to me personally is just this idea of a technology enabling people to create net new businesses that we couldn't have seen existing before. And so for that, I want to invite my buddy Mick up from AdBot to talk a little bit about that.
Howdy, everybody. My name is Mick Harris from AtBot, co-CEO, co-founder of the AtBot platform. So AtBot is a no-code bot that you can train and basically give it smarts using Flow for action, Lewis and Q&A Maker for smarts. Very easy to use, drag and drop, and really designed to make bots and process automation accessible to your citizen developers, your power users. You don't have to be a coder to create bots. What we're talking about today and what we did with the graph in particular is a new feature we released very recently, and we're kind of talking about it for the first time at Ignite, is AtBot Memory. It's a very subtle thing that we feel will add a lot of value to any sort of bot experience where a user might engage with the bot and then follow up with something. And the bot can say, hey, I know what you're already talking about, and I can go ahead and work with information you already gave me, so I don't have to give it back again. We built this, and I'll show you a demo of this. We built this using what's called the graph open extensions. It's this concept of being able to supplement the graph data with context-specific data that's in your tenant. Open extensions are great because they're really, really easy to use. And what's really, really important is it stays in your tenant. So as a third-party SaaS, as we are not storing your data. We're putting it in your tenant. We're working with it. We're using it. But open extensions and graph in general gives us a really, really great way to work with data but keep it on your side. So we never actually store it at rest. And what's really nice with graph too, and I'll show you in the case of memory, and actually we use graph in a couple of other places, it's very fast. We really, really like that part. It allows us to add a lot of interactions between the graph and still have a very nice, smooth user experience. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and show off real quick. Let me switch this guy. Okay. So here's my AtBot. I'm using Teams right now to work with my bot. And I've already trained this guy using Lewis. I've created a skill for setting up a meeting. Pretty common demo, and it's super fun to do. So I'm going to set a meeting with Joe for today at 3 p.m. Now, this is the fun part about Lewis and AI. Super geeky. I love it. It allows me to, I get to show off how using Lewis, our bot, can identify that Joe is a person, right? Now, I'm going to use Graph and go look up in your tenant, say, hey, I searched on Joe using the people search built into Graph, and these are the people I found. Anybody SharePoint folks use SharePoint? I'm sure of it. People picker, this is kind of our people picker. Graph is awesome for this kind of stuff. So I'm going to pick, this is the Joe that I want to add to my meeting. And then the bot's going to ask me, what's the subject of the meeting? Discuss Ignite session. Okay. Now at this point, the bot's going to go go create the meeting. He's going to invite Joe, get all that stuff set up. Pretty standard stuff. I built this using Flow. I'm going to show you in a bit how all that came about. And I'm also going to show you the bot memory piece. So as he's setting up the meeting, there it is. The meeting's set up. Joe's got his invite. Maybe I realized this 5 minutes after I do this. Maybe I realized this after a couple other meetings and I realized someone else should be in the meeting. I'm just going to say add Matt to the meeting. I didn't say which meeting. I just said the meeting, right? So first thing it's going to do, of course, is say, well, here's the Matt I found. And I'm going to pick Matt. There we go. Now what it's going to do is it's going to say, well, here are the meetings that I remember. So now what it's doing is it's pulling in a graph, pulling into those open extensions. I'm going to show you what this looks like on the graph side as well. It's basically a JSON payload. Raise of hands, folks understand what JSON or are familiar with it? Awesome.
Right.
So it's a very simple JSON payload. There's a JSON schema that we're going to make freely available for folks to understand and actually contribute to. I'm going to pick the meeting that I just created, and that's it. Matt gets added. So how does this look like behind the scenes, and how easy was this to do? So on the @bot and from a bot skills and flow side, again, we use Flow. Everybody, who's familiar with Flow? Everybody? Anybody? Awesome.
Nice.
Even better. So I go into my Flow. This is basically what the experience looks like and what it looks like to create the skill I just used. So we have a trigger that basically you pick, set up a meeting. This is kind of a really quick and easy way to tie in Lewis and do that first part where I said set up a meeting with Joe, and it said, well, who's Joe? And what's the subject? And all that good stuff. Once I have that, here in Flow, I'm creating the event, I'm creating the meeting. Again, a really nice feature of Flow is this really, really easy way to integrate all these things. And then down here is what we call the save to bot memory. And what I'm doing here is I'm saving a memory type event, and I'm just pulling the subject and the date in here. What does that do? That's going to actually save in the graph this piece of information that then when a user says add a user to the meeting, right, when I said add Matt to the meeting, again, very, very simple, but you'll see right here, I'm now querying the user, I'm soliciting from the user, okay, which event, right? I saved an event before, now I'm asking which event was it that you were talking about. Now, where are those events, right? The good news is I'm not about to say, hey, we're storing your events for you and then mapping it to usernames. Because what if you were telling me, I don't know why you would ever tell me social security numbers, but what if it was something very business sensitive or PII, right? I don't want that data. I don't want to store that data. Graph gives me the ability to put it somewhere that still stays in your tenant and is secured as well. So I go to the Graph Explorer. I think later on there's going to be an actual URL of this. It's really easy to get to. Highly, highly recommended. That's a really nice tool to get started with Graph. You sign in with your account. Makes it really easy to use. And when it starts, the first thing, it always starts with /me right here, this guy right here. So graph.microsoft.com, version 1/me. If I run this will look familiar to folks. Basically, it's my name, my title, my email, all that good stuff. If I type right here, extensions, and you'll notice that it tries to autocomplete that. Let me see, can I collapse this? No, okay. Now, we see a JSON payload, and notice it's of type event. It's very simple. It's a JSON array type event with some very simple parameters in it. This is just our structure for the bot memory. We wanted to keep it light. We wanted to keep it simple, very easy to use. But this is how easy it is to utilize open extensions in Graph. It's very, very simple to do. Basically, once you understand how to post them, and the API documentation is very, very good, it's very easy to put this data in the graph and then retrieve it later. So some other things that we did with Graph. I showed the people picker stuff. That was really easy to do. And in our @bot platform, at a more enterprise level, when you start having your power users start creating lots of skills, lots of flows, we allow you to categorize them. You can categorize them as HR skills, as IT skills, as support skills, as collaborative skills. Maybe there's marketing skills. So if I look at this set of HR skills, one of the things that we also do is we can ACL skills. So we can allow very data sensitive, maybe PII sensitive type skills to be only run by certain personnel to try to make sure that the information is only appropriately provisioned. So, and again, what I'm doing here is something like, as you can imagine, I'm just picking from Active Directory groups, just like that. And now, what we're doing, and this is what's really exciting, from a performance perspective of how performant Graph is, basically every single time a user talks to our app bot, any enterprise bots, not just the pink one, you could create your own enterprise bot. All the users, whenever they try to initiate a skill, we are checking those ACLs real time. We do all sorts of caching for things, so we're not reading from databases we don't need to, but we always have to check to make sure the user is actually a member of that group. We can't cache that, because if they ever get taken out, they really shouldn't be able to run that skill anymore. So we're hitting graph every single time, and it's performant. It's pretty cool stuff. So big fans of graph from that perspective. So hopping back real quick. Again, just to recap, why did we choose the Microsoft Graph for our bot memory implementation? It stays in your tenant. That was the easiest thing, right? There are other ways you could have done that. We could have provisioned a Cosmos DB on your side and stored it there or something like that. But this is so simple, and simple usually turns out to be the right way to do it. Graph already has a ton of integration with Flow and Logic apps as well. The O365 users connector in Flow and Logic apps is really, really useful. Just generally, the idea of using those connectors, we heard a lot about Power Apps this Ignite session, or this Ignite, and it's come a long ways, and it's definitely ready for real use, and it connects to all those connectors that Flow does. So all this stuff that we're able to do, we've been talking about for a while in Flow and Logic apps, Power Apps can also utilize. So very, very powerful stuff for that too. And Graph has a lot of capability. So getting integrated with Graph, even if you're using just a small subset of it, there's so much more capability there that establishing the capacity to use Graph opens a lot of doors for you going forward. You're basically standardizing on how you're interacting with your data, which is really, really cool. So what did we learn from this experience, and what were some of the positives that came out of it? Well, being able to lightly and easily store bot memory like this was great for us from a user experience standpoint. You know, we can now allow people to create bots that are significantly more intelligent just because you're not having to re-ask the same questions over and over and over again. So now those flows, again, that's our nice GUI-based drag and drop for creating your bot skills, they're simplified too now. So they're not nearly as branched out and if, then, else, and all that other kind of stuff to try to recreate that experience, which is really, really nice. And again, we wanted to make sure this data stayed in the customer's tenant, because it's people saying stuff. It's people talking to the bot. Maybe they're typing for now, but they'll be talking someday to the bot. And what they say is, it's personal information, maybe not PII, but it's personal to them. It's just different than submitting a form sometimes. So we wanted to really, really respect that. And this open extension API mechanism in Graph really, really helped us do that. Also, technically, as long as the format is honored, other systems or other types of engagements could feed bot memory. So you might have an incident management type mechanism where there's a logic app that's triggered based on Power BI data, based on SQL data, that then could feed maybe a ticket number, maybe an incident number into bot memory, maybe send a user a notice, and then when they interact with the bot again, the bot already knows about the incident and can bring information in for them and those kinds of things. So another nice thing with using open extensions is it can be worked with, manipulated, or fed from a lot of different angles. And so we become more open from that perspective, and we give you a lot more power about how to utilize this capability.
Nice. And so essentially the data is living in the tenant on the user, but then multiple apps can talk to it. So not just AdBot, right?
You're right.
Awesome.
And kind of dovetailing that, but something that probably was our biggest lesson learned from this exercise is how permission scopes work in the graph. There are, we all come from, I think it was a lot of hands raised on the SharePoint side, back in the on-prem days with the Surface accounts that had just ridiculous amounts of permission, but since nobody really knew about that stuff, it was okay. It still wasn't really okay, but it kind of worked. In this world, the equivalent of that is when you are trying to work with Graph and you want to set up your consent or the permissions you get, you just check all the boxes. And you say, okay, I don't want to figure this out. I don't want to learn how all these permission scopes work. I'm just going to check it all so that I've got what I need. If someone actually takes the time to read what they're giving consent to, it says stuff like, I can read your email, which is just crazy, because bot memory has nothing to do with reading email. It should not say that. But, and the other reason I bring that up is extensions, open extensions. There is a permission wall there. It is not just something anybody can use and anybody can read and write. So again, you have to give that consent, which is good. It's a good thing. But what we learn and what we're always going to be aware of is that because we don't want to just ask for the kitchen sink from the get-go, we only want to ask for what we need. If we ever want to add more capability, we want to use more parts of the graph, we may need to ask for more permissions. Sometimes, if those are what are called delegated permissions, that might be us asking each individual user for their consent. In other cases, what are called application permissions. Those are a little easier. An admin can give consent once, and then all the users can leverage that consent the admin gave, and those are nice. Those are nice when they happen. But generally speaking, there is some strategy that has to be had or some planning that you really want to undertake early to understand, okay, what kind of permissions do I need and what's my game plan if this ever changes? And it's worth it. It is not the right idea to just ask for everything and hope they don't look at it. Because sooner or later, this is not going to be as new, and all the security folks are going to be very, very particular about this and shut that kind of stuff down. And our final wish list who here is aware of the webhook stuff that's in Graph today? Awesome. So super, super exciting stuff, extremely efficient. Also very, very young. That's why I said it 3 times, because we want webhooks for everything. We're working with basically all facets of the Graph API today, especially on the Teams side, which is very, very new, but some really exciting stuff there. But we're big fans of what webhooks bring. We definitely recommend taking a look at what's available today and utilizing that. Always think, how can I subscribe to changes to the graph versus always checking on a regular basis? It's more efficient. It will cost you less because now you're not putting jobs in Azure or something like that that's running on a regular basis. And in tandem with what's called Delta queries. So Delta queries are really, really cool. Again, very young in Graph, but they're out there and they're just going to get more and more available. But the idea being that against any data point, let's say it's email's a really, really good one, right? So I can check for new emails. And if I do that in the context of a Delta query, basically what happens is I receive back, okay, no new emails, let's say, right? And some form of a token that I can use on my next Delta query. And what it does is, okay, since the last time you queried, there's 2 new emails, which is very, very efficient. Combine that with webhooks, where now I've got a webhook coming that says, hey, you have new data. So then I fire a Delta query, and then I get that Delta. Let's say for whatever reason, the first webhook comes in, I don't do anything. Second webhook comes in, now I do something. Delta query still makes sure I get what was the sum of those 2, the reasons for those 2 webhooks. But I'm not necessarily, there's no extra work for me to have to figure out what I should and should not consider new. So webhooks are going to be great. Delta queries in tandem with them are really, really exciting. And that's our big ask. Yep. And they've heard loud and clear, so they know.
Trust me, he emails me a lot of email and stuff like that. And so no, we hear you. I wanted to. A lot of the customers wanted to, so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, one more. So kind of the things that were top of mind for us and what I'd recommend when you want to start working with the graph. The Graph API documentation is actually really, really good to the point of you understand, you're like, oh, wow, I can do this? This is awesome. Then you start doing it, right? If you're a developer, you may have a developer tenant of your own, which you might be an admin on. And when you do that kind of stuff, you may end up be giving yourself consent or permission to things that you don't normally have the ability to do in your production tenant. So what you want to do when you find an API endpoint that seems to meet your needs, take a good look at what permissions are necessary for that and understand what the scope of that is. Depending on the size of your organization, those kinds of things, you may have to go through a certain process to make sure that will be facilitated and how that's going to get facilitated. Because if it isn't you doing it, you're going to need to find out who's going to need to do it. Also, Microsoft did a great job. They give us a beta endpoint. I can show that real quick for folks that have never used the Explorer, just real quick. Over here, when we were doing this little drop down right here, shows either V1 or beta. It's literally that simple to switch over to a beta endpoint and see all the new stuff coming, which is cool. And I love looking at new stuff coming for sure. But if I'm not careful, I accidentally build something and put it out in production that's on a beta endpoint that's subject to change, and they have every right to change it, right? So that's another thing to just be really, really cognizant of, is that, am I working with V1, which I know is going to stay the way it is, or am I planning for something that's in beta, and how do I want to time this, that kind of thing. And then finally, the Microsoft Graph we are talking about today, which is kind of the graph to be, the one graph to rule them all, if we will. It does have some predecessors. So I mentioned the Azure AD graph. I think there's another one too, the Office graph, the old Office graph. We've used the Azure AD graph for some things because there just are some functionalities you cannot do in the Microsoft Graph yet. There's plenty of tables out there you can find where they say, we will get parity at some point, but sometimes you may end up having to use that older graph and then just plan on someday switching that over. So change is still happening. There's still a lot of change going on, but there is still a lot of capability as well. And they're definitely headed in the right direction as far as just having one place to get all this stuff. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Mick. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yeah. Oh. And so I think some of the stuff Mick highlighted is really interesting, right? I think just some of the other finer points to think about in the beta land, we essentially look at beta as we have this strong point of view that we've researched, we've gotten some feedback on, but at the end of the day, nothing beats putting it out there and seeing what happens when customers integrate with it. And that's what happens in the beta land. And the idea being that once customers start integrating with that and we get a better feel for it, we then go ahead and make changes if necessary, or if not, push that to V1. Once in V1, though, we don't support breaking changes or anything like that because we understand you're building production-ready apps on top of that, and we want to make sure we give you the same trust, reliability that you've come to expect from us. So thank you for that. So switching gears real quick, one of the things that was mentioned earlier today was this idea of like trust and security is paramount. As Mick talked about, managing permissions, using least privilege, GDPR, so on and so forth, right? Like we see what's going on in the industry, and we see what's changing. Trust and security is becoming more and more of a valuable asset to have as a company, as a solution provider, and something to keep top of mind. And from our perspective at Microsoft, one of the ways we look at it is from an operational, a technology perspective, and also a partnerships perspective. And so what does that mean? And so really on our end, when we think about all the various security assets we have, whether it's advanced threat protection, whether it's Defender, so on and so forth, all these security assets we have generate about 6.5 trillion signals for us that we process every day, just so we can get insights and understand. And for us, that really means we have an operational security posture that allows us to look at these events, process them, and then feed that into the right places so that we can take action on them. And we see this data essentially manifesting in our products. So whether that be Azure, whether that be Dynamics, whether that be Secure Score that was announced a lot earlier this week, whether that be the M365 admin portal, we are feeding in all this information into that. But a key component to all of this at the end of the day is like we can't do this ourselves, and we recognize that. At the end of the day, we need to work together because of the landscape that we're in and because of the adversaries we're facing from a securities perspective. And so from a partnership side, one of the things we have done is do this partnership for the Intelligent Security Graph, which is part of Microsoft Graph. So essentially us exposing security insights, data, and more information that we're gathering. But interestingly enough, not just from our perspective as well, but also working with other partners that are selling security solutions and to your companies and other people that you work with. So to show you how that actually works, where this is a case where somebody's not just using Graph as somebody calling Graph, but also as somebody providing data that goes into Graph that we now federate as part of the Intelligent Security Graph. So for that, I invite my buddy Francesco to come to the stage. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Francesco from Palo Alto Networks. I work in the developer relations team. So, as Ayuba mentioned, I would like to talk about how we can feed information into the graph. We believe that the graph is very useful even for security. We are a cybersecurity vendor, and we can use the graph information to protect our customers by getting access to information like files and emails. We can scan them and find out if something is wrong with that information and detect anomalies. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today. just before we get into the details, how many of you know Palo Alto Networks? Okay, not too many, interesting. So we are a cybersecurity company. Our flagship product is called the Next Generation Firewall, but we do much more than firewalls. We do endpoint protection, we do cloud protection, and we call our solution the security operating platform, meaning that we have all these different components that work together to generate services that protect our customers. So it's an interesting industry because you always are fighting against an adversary, so the innovation is not just finding something new to beat your competition, but you have to beat the threats that are happening every day. And one of the things we believe is really important is about automation, extensibility, integrations. So we believe that we can win, our customers can win, not just by buying only our stuff, but by working together with all the different partners and all the different components in the ecosystem. And I believe in your organizations, you have lots of security products from lots of security vendors, from Microsoft, from us, from third parties. What's the problem with that is that it's really hard to put together all the information that these products generate. Maybe you buy one security solution for a great reason because they provide some very unique value that you want. But aggregating the information that they generate or pushing them the right information so they can do their magic, it's really complex to achieve. And so the problem is that you have to manage lots of different solutions, lots of components, even just within Microsoft. If you just want to use all the Microsoft security products and get the information out of them about the alerts, that's really hard because they have multiple consoles, multiple components. So what's the solution for that? Both us and Microsoft believe that the solution is around API and automation, and we have two different ways to approach this problem, but we are also working together to solve this problem. Specifically, what we do at Palo Alto Networks, we have a service called the Application Framework that is meant to put together all the security information, logs, and telemetry that our products generate, and we put them in our cloud, in our data lake, if the customers want so. And as a customer, you can decide that you can give access to this data to third-party vendors. So you can say, I want to give Microsoft access to the security information that the Palo Alto Networks devices and endpoints generate. And Microsoft can do things on top of that. And it's not just Microsoft, it's, again, an ecosystem of several partners. And competitors as well. I mean, anybody can potentially do that. And also customers can access programmatically this information through APIs. So customers can build their own dashboards, can build their own components. What Microsoft does is building the Security Graph API, which is part of the graph. And what they do is really trying to solve the same problem. How can I give access to all the security alerts and security information across all the Microsoft and also third-party security products? So what they created is they created an API within the graph that is a gateway to the Microsoft security products and through a federated model, third-party security products as well. So using the Graph Security API, you can use a single API to get the alerts from all the Microsoft security products and also the alerts from the Palo Alto Networks application framework through what we call a provider. So if you look at the slide here, as an example, you have the Graph Security API on the left, and you have an application that is consuming the Graph API to retrieve alerts, for example. And this API will broadcast that request to all the providers, which will be Microsoft Identity Protection, Microsoft Azure Security Center, Microsoft Windows Defender ATP, but also to the, if you want, to the Palo Alto Networks provider. And the Palo Alto Networks application framework provider will convert that request into a request that our application framework can understand, extract the data from our own data lake, and translate that in a common format that the graph can understand and return that information to you. And I'm going to show you a demo of this, which will make things easier. Before we get into the details of the demo, I just want to mention something. We are a cybersecurity company. We are storing customer data in our application framework. We don't want that data to go anywhere where that the customer doesn't want to. So for us, the security and protection is extremely important. This means that when building that provider, we had to make sure that the customer is giving consent to the provider to access their own data and their own data. We need to make sure that we are telling the graph that we are ready to accept queries for that specific customer and only that specific customer. We need to make sure that we don't mix these things and we don't mix customer data. So this was really important for our design, and the graph provides a set of capabilities that are really interesting to do that. So switching gears to the demo. 7. So, yes. So this is our own application portal. Again, as a Palo Alto Networks customers, you're using the application framework and you're sending data to our cloud, you have this nice portal where you can activate the applications. It's like the App Store for any of the big phone vendors. And specifically here, we want to activate the integration with the Microsoft Security Graph. So we create an instance, select the region. Again, we have multiple regions because there are different compliance and regulations, GDPR and whatnot, so we can store data in Europe, in Americas, etc. And what we're doing here is just enabling the integration on our side. So this will take a few seconds. We are enabling our API to access the data, but we didn't give consent yet. So here we go. So by clicking this, I'm going to the user interface of our provider. So I was previously logged in as a Palo Alto Networks customer on the Palo Alto Networks portal. Now I'm logging in with my Microsoft account. So by doing this, I was able to log in on both ways. So I make sure that I'm the right person on both ends. And here on the provider user interface, I'll just give consent to the provider to access the Palo Alto Networks data. Yeah, obviously, there is some demo effect. Here we go. So I'm giving consent. And I'm also telling the Security Graph API to start sending requests my way. So by doing this, basically I have enabled the integration. And again, from a user experience perspective, as you can see, it's very easy. It's a handful of clicks. But in reality, what we've done is guaranteeing consent and security on both ends. So we are sure that everything is right. And switching gears, now that this integration is enabled, I just want to show quickly how you can access the security data through the Graph Security API. This is a sample application that was created by Microsoft. So this is an application that can basically query the Graph Security API and retrieve alerts from all the security products, including, now that we have activated it, Palo Alto Networks. So if I click on Get Alerts, and here you can see some dashboard, secure score. Obviously, I have to log in. Sorry, the session expired. Nice. Well. Give me 1 second. Otherwise, I will just show.
Yeah.
Okay, seems to be working now. So, okay.
Gotta love that.
Here we go. Yeah, some demo effect. Sorry, my bad. But I wanted to highlight just the query. So this is the query, how it looks like. Can you read it? From the Graph API. So the endpoint is /security/alerts. And you have this filter where you can query for vendor, you can query for severity, you can pivot across different components. So for example, if you look at the details of this alert, it's from this user account. And if you click on this user account, you can extract by doing this query. As you can see, account name equals Douglas F. You are getting all the alerts that are related to this user. And look, there are lots of alerts from different security products: Cloud Application Security, Windows Defender ATP, Palo Alto Networks, Office 365. So imagine having a security administrator having access to all these consoles. Probably won't have access to all of those. And more importantly, they won't look at all these medium severity alerts because they don't make sense individually, but they make sense all together. They build a story. So just by using this API as a security administrator, you can get lots of interesting information from Microsoft and third-party applications. And obviously, you can pivot across different services. So this is just a quick demo. I don't want to get into too many details, but just switching back to the presentation. What we learned by building this. So again, we had to build a provider, and that was a great experience for us. We think that graph is really important for the reasons I mentioned, and this really provides better protection by working together and not working competitively against other vendors. We really believe that for our customers, the integration is really important. And personally, I had a great experience working with the Microsoft team. I want to mention that because it's the first time I've been working with Microsoft. And I had imagined that Microsoft was a big company, so slowly moving. That's absolutely not true. We really had a great experience. We were true design partners. We collaborated on a number of things. And we solved a complex problem, because what you've seen, it's a complex problem. Imagine finding a way to normalize alerts from all different types of security products, a firewall and an endpoint agent. How can I craft an alert that is able to use a common language that captures all the relevant information that allows you to search and pivot across all these systems? So Microsoft did a great job trying to put together this schema, and we helped them, us and other vendors, to try to make it even better. So that was really a nice way to solve a complex problem together, and we are proud of that. What we learned, what were some challenges. One is, again, trying to find the right data model. That wasn't easy. We are satisfied with what we have so far, and it will also improve over time. The other one is finding a way to make sure that, again, the data doesn't go around. This is very important. You don't want security data to be scattered around. That's our core business. So we are making sure that we authenticate the ISG, the security graph, when it comes to us. We also get the original token that the user sent to the security graph, so we can do double validation. So Microsoft supports this. It's very important. And we want to make sure that data is not stored anywhere else. So the security graph doesn't store data. The data is stored in our data center that is compliant, and only data is in transit is moved around. From a developer's perspective, again, good engagement, but we are not a .NET shop. So when we started, okay, let's build a provider. Nice. Here are the .NET C# examples. Okay, what can we do? I don't know that. So now it's getting much better. They're providing Python examples. They're providing Node.js examples. We helped in that too. So we think that, again, this is improving, but obviously this being a bleeding edge, most of the stuff was in .NET, and we didn't have the knowledge internally. So that was also a great learning experience for us. And one thing I want to mention about OData. So the format of the data is called OData. If you need to query using OData, it's nice, it's easy. You can find lots of client libraries. But if you're building a provider, you need to serve data using OData and understand those filters and convert those filters in your own language. That's not easy. The support for OData is big for .NET and Java. Other languages, not so much. So if you're starting a project, make sure you're using a language that has enough OData support. And lastly, for us, it's very important to build an architecture at scale. So we've been using Azure and to build this provider, Azure Functions and all the serverless stack that was in beta until 2 days ago. So also that was a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes they change the runtime and broke stuff. Now it's stable. It's great. We're happy about our choice. So we had to learn a lot, but obviously there was lots of work. And so just to wrap up, what we suggest, again, similar to what Mick said, first of all, use the Graph Explorer. If you're building a project that is leveraging the Graph Explorer is a great tool to start with, because you don't need code, you don't need anything. You just go to use a web UI. As part of the application framework, we are also in the process of building our developer portal for our own developers against application framework. We are looking after the same model because we really like that. The fact that you can go in, browse anonymously, get mock-up data, then you can sign in with your own account and get your own data. That's great. So I really suggest to start with that to understand what you can do with the graph, and the security graph is also part of that. So it's really great. The other thing I recommend, again, permissions. Just make sure you understand the Azure Active Directory and application permissions and delegated permissions, how it works, how to scope things correctly. Don't give broad access to everything. You have to pay the price for that later. So spend some time understanding that it's really worth it. And finally, I already mentioned that if you're building a project based on OData, make sure you're using a language or the right library. So spend some time looking into that. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Francesco. Appreciate it. And so with that, I just hope you've gotten to see some of the bets we're making, some of where we're going. Most importantly, I think some of the thing he was alluding to with Graph Explorer is there's an ability to just pull up the page, aka.ms/ge. No need to sign in. And we have a demo tenant that backs that. And you can start querying data from the graph and start to get a feel for how does it behave? What kind of things can I build? What kind of things can I prototype? And then if you want to go a little bit further, sign in and actually start to play with your organization data. One caveat to remember is that once you sign in, it is your organization data at that point. So if you delete an email, it deletes. So just keep that in mind. But otherwise, I think we're at time. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Really do appreciate you guys coming out on a Friday. We'll stick around for questions, and thank you, and have a good weekend.